after a year and a half of having barricaded myself, I realized that living a hermit existence in my bedroom trading was not going to get me anywhere. And I contacted a brokerage company, and I don't know how much you know about this city, but take your worst expectations and then double it. I thought it was a joke when I read that people got hired over a couple of martinis and a couple of stiff vodkas. But I remember my job interview, I got so plastered that I could barely remember signing a contract. Swear to you that story is 100% true. We are sat there at an Italian restaurant in the city, and 3 bottles of wine later, he said to me, well, why don't you come and work for us? I don't actually remember what he said when I asked him how much money I would get, but I said something along the lines, well, that sounds great. It turns out that it was £25,000 a year, and it wasn't a great salary, but it was for someone who had bicycled everywhere and who lived on baked beans on toast for the last 9 months. It was a pretty welcome relief. I was so broke in the first couple of months when I started working with my colleague that rather than getting the train, I got the bus to my destination because I would save £10. It's hard to imagine now, 9 years later, that I'm a multimillionaire from trading. Yet I still got the tube down here. Because it's not about the money. Because when you love what you do, the money just comes flowing to you. From early 1992 to late 1992, I got up at 6 a.m. and I was at the office at 8, and I worked till 5, and at 6 p.m. I would be at the roller coaster, and I worked till 1 o'clock in the morning, catch the train home. And in those 9 months, I managed to save enough money so I not only could pay my tuition fees for the bachelor, but I also took a master's degree in finance. When I graduated, I knew nothing. All I had was a lot of theory. I didn't know what to use the bachelor degree in economics. I didn't know what to use the master's degree. I had some interviews with people, and I flew through those interviews. There's one memorable interview that I did with Ford Motor Company for the currency trading department. That might come as a bit of a surprise to you, but Ford Motors obviously have agencies all over the world, and they get a lot of their revenues in different kind of currencies, which has to be translated into the US dollar. And they would employ guys like me, especially someone like me, what I'm doing today and what I know today. They would employ someone like me, and they would say, what do you think that the yen against the dollar is going to be in the next 3 or 4 months? And accordingly, they were looking for people to hedge their exposure. So if you know that you're going to get $1 billion yen in 3 months' time, you can actually hedge your exposure right there and then, so you don't have any fluctuations over the next 3 months. And I flew through the interview, but I got rejected. And the guy was kind enough to call me up and said, look, I know you had your hopes high and you were really a very strong candidate, but you're just goddamn too egotistical to work with anyone else. And I took it to heart. And as Simon said in his introduction, it was really for me about finding my own way. Now, when you're asked to do a talk to people like you, you're kind of wondering, okay, here I am, I'm in my 40s, and you're probably somewhere in your 20s. I'm thinking, what is it that if I was in your shoes that I could possibly pass on to you that would have some sort of resemblance, something you could pass on, or something you could hold on to and take away when this day is over? And I really struggled, and then I realized actually, when I decided that I wanted to go to university, you would think that my parents were, yay, Sonny boy is going to university. No, they weren't. They said things like, don't you think you should finish your education as an apprentice in that office first? No. Do you really want to go and study in England? Yeah. Wouldn't you miss us? Probably not. Actually, come to think of it, I think I would rather leave today than tomorrow. And that's nothing to do with my relationship with my parents. They're loving people. But the lesson I wanted to impart to you is that there's going to be a lot of well-meaning folks in your life who want you to listen to them. but actually they're speaking for themselves.